What's up, you guys? Chet Go Through the Dream Poet here, coming to you all with day 174 of my vlogging experience here in the state of Florida. And hold up, is my camera sliding to an angle? I don't think it is. But anyway, you guys, for today's vlog, I am going to do something very special to celebrate the fall/Halloween spirit. And also, it might cause a lot of controversy. And that, my friends, is my top 10, I guess, ghost channels, ghost television series, haunted series. I'm not sure exactly what you would call it, but my 10 top favorite, what's he trying to say? My top 10 favorite paranormal television shows, at least from my end. And y'all are probably thinking, like, oh, Chad, it's probably Ghost Adventures. Like, no, actually, you'd be surprised where Ghost Adventures is on my list. And two, y'all are noticed, there's a lot more light. I have to go into work today a little bit sooner. So I just want to go ahead and make my video. That way I don't have to worry about it. So, folks, strap in your seatbelts. We are going to go on a ride. Sorry, I had to get stuff out of my beard. Yes, this is a different camera. I was about halfway through recording it, you guys, and I didn't realize, let me close that real quick, that it wasn't recording. So basically that's 15 minutes of my life that I will never get back. But you guys are getting the second rendition of it. Like, dang it, why did that happen? So you guys, I had to put a hat on because I got bedhead, and I've been up for a couple hours now. So let's get this review started. Thank goodness that's not orange vanilla Coke. But alright, number 10 on my list of ghost/paranormal television shows is none other than Haunted Collector. Paranormal Collector aired from 2011 to 2013 on the Sci-Fi Channel. And what they would do is the hosts would go out to these haunted locations and they would find a specific item that would be causing the haunts, because for whatever reason, ghosts and demons and spirits like attaching themselves, well, to specific items, especially if they were here in their life and they had a particular fetish for whatever they wanted. So these ghost hunters, they would go in, they would find the source, the object, and they would pull it out, take it home with them, and the guy who was the main host would put it in his museum. Now, it's a very interesting take on ghost hunting because ghosts do attach themselves to particular items. But I will say, for whatever reason, for me, it just kind of got old about 3/4 of the way in through season 2. I don't know why. Maybe it's because you just see enough of it, and sometimes they don't really find the source of the activity, and the haunts just continue. But there were a lot of times where they would find the object, and everything would go peaceful. Now, there's an interesting story, and a fun thought, and how I know this is because when I was working with Adventures United, we did some exploration of the old South Pittsburgh Hospital, and that's when we found out from Stacy, the former owner, that Haunted Collector had come through, and I think he found a stethoscope that he went home with. Or at least that was from Stacy's words, I think. But alright, you guys, that, excuse me. Now for my number 9 pick, which my number 9 pick is Most Haunted. Now, Most Haunted aired from 2002 to a certain time. I don't remember when in America that it stopped showing on the Travel Channel, but to this day it's still going on very strong in the United Kingdom where the show is shot. Now, 13-year-old me thought it was really cool to watch the psychic aspects of it and to really get to see really what goes on in the United Kingdom and the European side of ghost hunting, ghost stories, especially the most notorious ones. Like the one that Most Haunted did, they did a Jack the Ripper episode. And who was the man that committed all those murders? I think they figured out who it was. I can't quite remember, but very strange. And that's what got me liking like hearing the European side of all that good stuff. But that is my number 9 choice. Now, for my number 8, and this is an oldie, is Haunted Lives, True Scary Stories. This one aired from 1991 to 1995 on CBS, and y'all are probably wondering why I chose such an old show. I'll let y'all know. Back when I was 5 years old, at my grandparents' house, my uncle and his at the time girlfriend, now ex-girlfriend, were asleep. 5-year-old me was watching TV, and these reruns of this show came on. And this show fascinated me. Plus, it was narrated by Leonard Nimoy. You can't go wrong with Leonard Nimoy. Spock. But one of my most favored episodes of this was a haunted Toys R Us out in California, where it was built on top of a plantation about 200 years before. There was a love story that went south, and long story short, they did a ghost hunting session at that Toys R Us, and they caught a very, very rare thing, which in the world of ghost hunting paranormal activity is the holy grail, and that is they caught a full body apparition. Quite incredible. But that show is what did a lot of it for me. I mean, I can't tell you like what it was like for 5-year-old me to watch those reruns and get scared the bejesus out of me, but having a strong respect for the paranormal. Now, time for my number 7 pick, my ghost story. Now, I might have a little bit of confusion with this one. My ghost story aired from 2010 to 2013 on the Travel Channel, but if it's the same one I'm thinking about, it is a documentary series where they go back, do reenactments of what happened to certain families when they lived in a haunted home, or one of the bigger stories like a haunted business or a haunted hospital, all that good stuff. And plus too, when I was in college, they had reruns of it on YouTube, and they were cheap, and you could never go wrong with cheap. Well, actually, it was free, but don't question me. But really great show. I do like the documentary style shooting with reenactments, actors showing what happened. I really have nothing bad to say about this show other than it was good. Now, for my number 6, and this one should be higher on the list, but there are too many good ones to count. And that is A Haunting. A Haunting aired for a brief period from 2005 to 2007 on the Discovery Channel. Then it was picked up again from 2012 and is still presently showing on TLC. And A Haunting is essentially a dramatization, reenactments, documentary style shooting, and My favorite thing with this is just the narrator, the narrating, the writing, the script, the interviews, how it is all edited. It was shot really well, and I think maybe that's why it was viewed as, being able to come back. Again, sitting there with my grandparents when I was about 12, 13 years old, watching this kind of stuff, a haunting really got my creative juices going. And I think one of my favorite episodes was, I think it was somebody who was messing with some dowsing rods at a cemetery, and he had a lot of hallucinations. He was seeing a lot of things. Granted, he had to be exorcised. Very good story, and it was just good. Now, for my number 5 pick, and y'all are probably going to look at me like I'm crazy that it should be at least in the top 3, and that is Ghost Adventures. Ghost Adventures aired in 2008 and is still going strong with Zach Bagans and his team, but I will let y'all know why, flat out and foremost, why it's farther up the list. While Zach Bagans has made a lot of contributions to ghost hunting and the paranormal and paranormal research, his ethics in doing it, I question. Yelling at these entities, these spirits, these ghosts, getting very violent with them, especially when you don't know what they can do to you. To me, that's throwing gasoline on a fire. Like, that's pretty dangerous. And one example, they went to, I believe it was called Mr. Mackey's. It was a bar, and they ended up going home with a pretty bad demon. Or another time too, when they explored this one ghost, or this one house that was basically a portal to hell, and it screwed up one of his teammates' minds beyond all belief. And the house was so bad that Zach Bagans just bought the damn thing and got it bulldozed, and they never talked about it again. I mean, he took dirt from the house, and he took a few pieces of wood, but all in all, Zach Bagans has made a lot of contributions, and that's what I like about Ghost Adventures. Especially, it kind of goes back to Haunted Collector. If you know Zach Bagans, he has a very large collection out in Las Vegas, and that's what I like. He keeps the TNT, the weapons, away from the public, which maybe that's why I should put it farther on the list, but I don't know. Just him screaming at the ghosts, it's pretty scary. Now, on to number 4. And that was Real Scary Stories. You're like, Chet, what is Real Scary Stories? Well, okay. If you remember ABC Family and Fox Kids, it was a show that was specifically geared towards children, and it aired from 2001 to 2002. But I absolutely loved the show growing up. From its editing, to its documentary, to its dramatization, the B-roll, how it was edited. I mean, my God, it was for a kids' television show. It was brilliant. But because there's just so little left about this show, I mean, there are pieces of it on YouTube, but there's not a full series, which makes me sad because the show was so good, and why will they not do something like it again? I mean, it was just such a good... to me, it was better than Goosebumps, and it was better than Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. It was a good show, but sadly, you can find bits and pieces of it on YouTube, but for me, that show... there's just a lot of nostalgia. I think that's really why I put it so far up the list, is the nostalgia behind it. Now, for number 3, Ghost Hunters. Ghost Hunters aired from 2004 to 2016 on Sci-Fi. And for me, I prefer that style of paranormal research. Just going and asking general questions, being very calm with the entity, but still standing your ground. That's why I liked ghost hunters. And two, they had a lot of good activity. I think one of the things that really got them on the map was a chair moving on its own in one, I think it was a lighthouse. That was one of the early episodes. And one of the things that to this day is still a captured holy grail that ghost hunters caught was a true blue entity peering over the railing at the St. Augustine Lighthouse. That was freaky. There is just a lot of good evidence they have caught. They even caught a ghost on thermal, which is extremely hard to do. Very nice. Very nice. That is why I like ghost hunters. And I know they have a new show. I'm glad because they do a lot of good in this particular field. Now, for my number two, scariest places on Earth. It aired on ABC Family and Fox Family from 2000 to 2006, and it was brilliant. It was essentially like a game show where they would send these large families to these extremely haunted places on Earth. Like, for example, they did a plantation in Louisiana. They did Chillingham Castle in the United Kingdom, or I think it was the United Kingdom or London or Scotland. They went to Dracula's castle. They would send, and Pavelia Island. They sent all these families there. The chance to win a large amount of money, but before they would send the families out there, they would unlock a doorway and let the families get stuck with a bunch of shit. But it was a good damn show, and that's why I do like it. I hate that it's gone the way of the dodo, but still, it's really good. And now, for the finale, my favorite all-time paranormal television show, which just takes the cake for everything, is Paranormal Witness: True Terror. Oh my god, I love that show. It aired from 2011, and they haven't shown anything of it since, but the show was amazing. Now, it was a dramatization slash documentary slash, all in all, how they told their ghost stories was amazing. Down to the editing, especially someone that comes from a video production standpoint. Going into every episode, you felt the creep factor. You wanted to watch more. You wanted to know more. You wanted to see what happened to that family, and it had a conclusion, mostly at the end of every episode. It was brilliant. I wish they would come back, but they won't. But anyway, you guys, that is my top 10 paranormal television shows. Stay tuned. Keep in touch with me at Dream Poet at Facebook. Stay tuned for day 175. Don't know what we'll get into, but thank you all for staying in tune. Love you guys very much. Peace, y'all.